Welcome back to another episode of the Microgreen Thumbcast. I'm your host, Mike. Joining me today is my fantastic co-host, as always, Andy. And we've got our special guest today, as you can see, Josh from Greener Harvest Seeds. In this episode, we're going to dive deep into growing a resilient business and turning setbacks into success in your microgreen business. Andy and Josh are great to have both of you here and our other listeners as well. Thank you guys for joining us today. And a full episode today. Don't forget to hit that like button. That really helps us support us and get this out to more and more people. That is the best way you can support us. So we appreciate the help with that. And Andy, how are you doing today?
Doing well. It's been a crazy day. Put a couple more racks together today, so we're rolling and rolling here. It's nice.
Josh, how you doing? I know you did your TikTok and Instagram earlier today live, so I was nice to see that.
Yeah, man, we're doing good, bro. Just trying to take some little rest time and knock out a few things I got. But other than that, just same old, same old.
Awesome. And if you're here live with us today, Josh will be having a seed giveaway again today. So thank you, Josh, for doing that from Greener Harvest Seeds. His seeds are awesome, guys. I haven't had zero issues with any of his seeds that I've tried. Getting ready to get arugula seeds in and making the switch over from True Leaf to his arugula seeds. So I'm excited for that. And I see they say 98% germination. So if I get 96, I'll be happy.
Oh, they're
there. So make sure you stay around to the end for that giveaway. You don't want to miss that. Who can't take some free seeds? All right. So go ahead and put in that hashtag Thumbcast to enter to win. If you guys want to go ahead and get that in early as you possibly can, and let more people know. And let's get into it. All right. Setbacks are a natural part of the business. We're all going to go through setbacks, and every business, even the microgreen world, would be. We'll run into challenges along the way. They're really challenging adaptability and solving them problems. Make us stronger and more resilient as business owners and microgreen growers. They provide us with unique insight and opportunities for growth that may not have been found otherwise. Andy, I know you've seen a lot of listeners have shared their stories of their setbacks and adaptability. Is there anything that really stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people struggle initially with making sales and marketing. Everybody can easily learn how to grow. There's plenty of videos on how to do that, but it seems like they get to that point and then they really, really struggle. So at least that's what I've seen, kind of a common setback to start. Where a lot of people can't figure that part of it out, so they end up, selling their business, or they really struggle to get started, which is a shame. So, but that's probably the biggest one I've seen overall.
Yeah, I definitely think sales is probably the biggest challenge people face in the business world and in the microgreens for sure. Being new to a business or whatever else, learning how to sell is probably the most challenging. Josh, with your experience, not only at Greener Harvest, but with some of that helped a lot with new growers, have you seen any setbacks shape the microgreen business?
well, personal setbacks for me, man. When we first started the business, we had an account, and at the time it was our biggest account. It was a kind of like an open air market, and the place of the business was actually called Fresh Pickens. I wound up personal decision. I wound up pulling our products from the store, but I mean, to me, that's definitely a setback because we've lost at the time our biggest client.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's definitely a setback that I learned from extensively.
And that was just because it wasn't going well there, or?
Oh no, it's just a personality clash, I guess you
Gotcha.
could say. Yeah. So the we had went through corporate, and corporate had put us in contact, gave us all clear to go ahead and stock their stores.
Yep.
Well, you still have a contact point there whenever you drop off. So that's what we did. We went through our contact there, and she was just rude. She was, I don't want to say arrogant, but she was not a people person.
Gotcha. Yep. And the person you're being in contact with all that time, that's the one you want to make sure you have a good relationship with. You're never going to see or hear from that corporate person probably again. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I see Jessica's telling me I need to turn the fan off. So let me do that.
Okay. We'll continue. The background noise is getting to the producer back there, so we'll fix that. So, and folks, you just want a quick reminder: if you're enjoying this conversation, make sure you give us a like, and let's us go over and get back on track. So please give us a like on this video; we really do appreciate it. And let Josh get back for that. But let's not just focus only on the setbacks, but learning from those setbacks is an important part to getting set back up. Setbacks can reveal weaknesses in your business operations, from cultivating techniques to marketing strategies. They teach the importance of adaptability and adjusting strategies to overcome obstacles. They can help business owners become better assets, risking and making informed decisions. So, Andy, can you share about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had our share of setbacks for sure. One of our biggest customers that we landed earlier this year, was a big distributor account. It was a very, very nice payday. And so we spent a massive amount of money up front to get all the stuff that we needed to actually get started. So racks, lights, shelving liners, a bunch of seed, a lot more soil, things like that. And then they lost one of their biggest accounts almost right away. So we were about 2 weeks into the whole thing. We'd spent a ton of money, about $12,000 buying equipment and everything else that needed to get started. And, right away, the whole entire order was cut in half, which was a huge shame. So, but, it is what it is. We at least knew we had the racks. We knew we had the space. So then it was just a matter of selling to other people to fill those racks up. So, you can turn a setback into a positive. And, so we just, gave me the drive to get out there and make more sales. No, we just put out all that money to get started. We knew we were going to be a bit before we got it all back. So, and then even since then, that customer they lost came back on, and then they just recently dropped back off again. So, now we're back to square one. We got more rack space, which is good. So, time to get out there and sell again. It's just the way it works.
It's part of it. Yeah, you're going to have that ebb and flow, especially when you're dealing with them bigger accounts like that we talked about before. Yeah. It's gonna happen. You got to be set up to be able to handle them setbacks, for sure.
Yep. Make sure you have a fallback plan for sure.
Josh, speaking of setbacks that we talked about earlier, is there anything that revealed any weaknesses in your business or anything like that that you could specifically talk about? Josh, you're muted.
There we go. So absolutely, whenever that situation happened, it kind of revealed to me like, okay, so we just lost our biggest account. So how do we bounce back from this? How do I pivot from this point? So I was actually sitting in the parking lot, and I just started cold calling grocery stores right there, bam. And from that, we landed now our biggest client, which is a chain of 6 stores. So that was really cool to see that the weakness that I would have to see or say that exposed itself was just, I couldn't. My people skills, I'll say that, my people skills. That's something I definitely had to work on, especially because I'm the face. So customer to customer relation or business to business relation, I really needed to build on. And that's something that I took to heart. Started reading books, just reading all kind of articles about not just being a business owner, but also how to communicate effectively.
Yeah, that's huge. All right, guys, if you have any questions that come up with you, we're going along with this, we will have the Q&A at the end. So make sure you go ahead and get them questions in now, and we will take members first. If you're not a member, you can join, obviously, as members as low as $2.99, and we answer all members' questions at the end. And then we go to subscribers after that, and we'll look forward to answer all your questions. So get them in. All right. Learning from our mistakes hinges on persistence and determination to keep going. Plays a vital role in our success. Embracing mistakes and setbacks are stepping stones in our journey and are never ending. Improving paves the way for long-term achievements. Keeping a positive mindset, especially in tough times, will help us focus and find solutions instead of getting stuck on the problem. This is probably the biggest part where I see most businesses fail, when they get to these points and they're not able to get through these setbacks or something that takes them back and everything else, and getting through the hard times. We probably have had 5 or 6 different hard times in our business, and where we needed to get to the next level and push through and get to that. So that is always a challenge for sure, and always will be in the business world, be a challenge. Andy, I know you embraced some of your setbacks along the way. Would you like to share any examples? Any other examples?
Other than the one that I talked about a couple minutes ago, I'd say probably one of the bigger setbacks we had was just getting into here. It was one of those things where, moving into a commercial space, you don't really anticipate the costs, that are involved in doing so. So it was a pretty strapping thing to have to get started, because we didn't have the luxury of moving into a space that was ready to go, like Mike and Jess were able to pull off, which was really nice for them. We had to install the sink and, put in hand washing stations and buy, huge refrigerators. And I mean, we went from, a 12 by 18 room in our house with 6 racks into here. And within a year and a half, we had, 30 plus racks in this place. And we had to push our store out. We never had a retail store before, so it was like a total nightmare trying to get all of that up and running. We learned the lessons the hard way for sure. That seems to be how I prefer to do things in life. But just seems to play out that way. But again, staying positive, like Mike mentioned, I mean, you got to be ready to take on those things and deal with them when they come, because ultimately, once you made a decision, you're stuck with that decision oftentimes. So you either have to make it work or you got to figure something out to, take it in a different direction. So definitely can be interesting. But yeah, it was definitely tough getting in here and getting started. It was a lot of money out of pocket to get going.
I definitely think that's one of the biggest things is when we moved here, that's a big expense. It's a
Yeah.
lot of other things come in that you don't think about, like internet, heat and air, gas bill, all the other bills that you're just
Yep.
paying within your house that come up, so that you might not think about when you're moving to a place and then, wait a minute, no, it's this 3,500. No, it's 5,500 with all the other expenses that come in and everything else.
Mhm.
So you got to keep that in mind. But Josh, looking at your journey, what has helped you keep positive mindset?
I think the biggest factor to keeping a positive mindset for my operation is just keeping your eyes on the prize, understanding that you have a goal, and
Yeah.
it's not always a straight path to that goal. You're always going to go around some bumps,
Yeah.
go over some curves, vice versa, and eventually, if you stay true to your vision, you'll get to that goal. Uh, so for me, I mean, yes, we've had some serious setbacks, and I think just having a good positive mindset really contributes to perseverance, just going forward, just adapting. Because a lot of it, you talked about it earlier, having to adapt your space to your operation, right? Well, same thing too. We have to adapt to whatever issues arise, and you can't do it with a bad mindset. You'll sink your company quick.
Yeah, keeping a positive mind all the time and focusing on the future, not looking back and just making changes. If you lose a big client or trade goes bad, or what do you need to do? You get bad seeds of arugula from True Leaf. What do you do? Well, you go to Greener Harvest and get quality seeds.
Mhm.
And then you don't have that problem. Can't tell that I'm dealing with bad arugula seeds or anything. So definitely was trying to wait till I used all them seeds, but they're bad. I'm just going to Josh on that Greener Harvest and get that done. But that's just one of the things that lead to that, and making them pivots and changes and be like, hey, we don't have the ultimate greens, which has got our arugula in it this week because all the seeds are bad. So pivot and make a different product for them or something like that. But you find that problem out early enough, you can make changes and go that where it doesn't cost you a lot of money. But as Josh has spoke about preservation and leading to success, did you know in the early 2000s, Lego faced near bankruptcy due to an over diversification and losing touch with its core market? By realizing their mistake, they refocused on their core product, engaged more with their customers base, and got in licensing deals like Star Wars, Harry Potter's, all the things we see now with Lego. Rebounded becomes the world's most profitable toy maker. Other large, well-known brands have had to do preservations through some real tough times, like Apple, Netflix, Microsoft, and even a Whole Foods grocery stores. On a smaller scale, like we are, hopefully larger at some point, we have faced some challenges at times too, whether we've had preservation through some real challenging times. We've always gone through where, okay, we're barely making the money. Like, what do we need to do to get past this? What do we need to change? We came up with mixes and went to grocery stores and did that. That was a big change in our company that would set us where we are now. Josh is a microgreens teacher as well. I'm sure you've seen many success stories. Can you share anything that stands out on you or anybody else?
Man, absolutely. So we work with a few different individuals starting up and trying to scale. So one in particular is just like I always brag on him. Uh, his name's David, and I'm sure we've seen him pop through the forums we're involved in. But he wound up reaching out to me at the beginning. I want to say last year maybe, and his issue was in his approach. He would approach the he'd hit an email. He'd go through email and try to get in contact with somebody that way. And the screenshot that I was sent back was I can't get anybody to bite, something like that. And here's how I approached them. So immediately, like his reply was, the produce manager's reply was like, well, you need insurance. Well, so when I called him, I said, man, all of this has to be in order. You have to take away every opportunity to say no before they have the chance to say no. So if that means sending him a packet, right? Email him a packet. Hey, this is our deck. This is what we work with. Here's our price sheet. All of that, and that first contact. So he took that to heart, and he's in over 20 stores now.
Nice. That's awesome. That is a good story for sure. Love hearing that. Andy, are there any examples where you've helped somebody, you helped somebody at reservation in order to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously helped people in a variety of different ways, and very similar stories where they're struggling to get into a certain area, and obviously we just kind of help guide them into who to contact, what best way to approach them. And obviously everybody's got different ways of making that same approach. I mean, some people are a little less, some people are a little more. Some people walk right in the back door of a restaurant and hand samples to a chef on the fly, which that's awesome. I'm not there yet. I prefer to do a little more soft approach, and I think that works good for us. So, but yeah, we've helped a bunch of different people adapt to their different environments. And I think one recent, client that I worked with on business coaching is they're out in a pretty popular tourist area, and they were in a lot of restaurants. And then somebody basically came in with stupidly cheap and garbagey microgreens and took all their customers because they were advertising who they were using and all that stuff. So this person, whoever they are, if you're on this call, don't do this anymore, please. It's just not the right thing to do. If somebody's already got their stuff somewhere, leave it alone. There's plenty of business out there. But they ended up, taking all these restaurant clients from this guy. And so he was really trying to find new direction to, approach new clients. I gave him a whole bunch of different ideas outside of the norm, that you hear about, the restaurants, the grocery stores, and that's it for the most part. And then, direct to home subscriptions. So I gave him a bunch of different ideas to kind of think outside the box. And, so luckily he's been thriving since then, which is good. So I was like, hey, let that other person deal with the chefs. You can go out and deal with the people that are actually calm and normal for the most part. So, worked out good. So yeah, he's doing good, which is cool.
That's good. Yeah. There's many, many different avenues to go down. You don't have to stay in the restaurant world or the grocery stores or home deliveries. There's farmers markets. There's so many different ways to sell microgreens. Remember, anybody who's eating, which is all of us, are a customer, potential customers. Yep. So if you can just get 1% of your community, you're going to make a lot of money. I don't care what size your community is. 1%, you're going to make a lot of money. So just focus on that, getting good quality food to people some way, somehow. Be inventive. Just come up with a new way. Who knows? You can come up with a new way and do it. So, yeah. All right, let's talk about bouncing back stronger. First resilient building key is setting realistic goals and always have a backup plan for those unexpected moments. Next, cultivation is learning culture in your business. Remember, every mistake is a chance to get better. I always like to say there are no mistakes. They're just learning experiences. And you don't have to overlook the power of support system when times get tough. Lean on those mentors. Hopefully you have a mentor. If you don't, get a mentor, get a coach, get somebody. Connect with other industry peers and engage with the business's networks for advice and support. Be quick to adapt and don't get stuck on setbacks. Instead, use these experiences to move forward and grow. Take time to review and refine your business goals and strategies, especially after a setback. Learning from all these experiences, use them to make your plans even stronger. Together, these strategies form a solid foundation to overcome challenges and come out stronger and more prepared for the future. Josh, you've helped a lot of new growers get started and build their business. How important is it to your students to continue to reach out to you when you run into setbacks in their businesses, and how do you help them find ways to bounce back stronger?
Dude, it's critical. And the reason is, and you two could vouch for this, it doesn't matter where you're at in your journey. We're just a little bit further along. So I'm continuously learning. And because we have a good network of other people that we've helped, I'm able to not only learn from my own lessons, I'm able to learn from their lessons, right? So that's by far the coolest part, is seeing, okay, if this doesn't work, how can we adapt and turn it into something that does work? So I really encourage, even on successes and the ones that are struggling, reach out. Let's figure out where the resistance lies and be able to overcome that. My goal for sure is to help people have their own thriving business. But if there's not communication there, I can't do it.
Yeah, definitely. Don't be afraid to call somebody, get a hold of somebody, especially if you've already paid for a coaching program with them or a one-on-one with them. Everybody that does a one-on-one with me, I always tell them, hey, here's my contact. You can email me anytime. I'll get back to you. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but I will get back to you when I can, and I will answer your question. I will help you out. Obviously, we do this podcast with me and Andy on here every week. Josh shows up. Great time to ask questions and get your answers here also. So just make sure you always reach out to somebody if you always have a mentor. And I'm sure these guys are the same way with anybody they've coached and everything else, that you can reach out to them anytime and they will get back to you. So, Andy, I know you encourage a culture of learning within your Facebook group. If you guys are not in Facebook group with Andy, make sure you are. Do you feel that helps growers in your group lean on each other's more?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I find a lot of people that post and comment saying, "Oh, this is my favorite group," because it's always good information, coming back. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of the groups struggle with is there's a lot of really bad information being sent in by people who either saw something that was incorrect or they tried something and they think it's the best way to do it, and it may not be. Don't get me wrong, none of us have the best way to do everything, but obviously we've all been through it a lot more times. So we've had a lot of learning experiences and setbacks of our own to try and get to where we are. But I definitely find that between, me being in there, you being in there, Mike, you being in there, Josh, and everybody else, all the experts we have, like Joe and Mike, I'm not sure how you say his last name, Baganzi, something like that. He's a wheatgrass professional.
Yes.
The guy's the man when it comes to that stuff. So having all those guys in that group, and having experts active is huge. So you have kind of your own little mentorship inside of there, but ultimately, obviously, all of us, offer direct one-on-one coaching, and people reach out to me all the time through Messenger, and then when I write them back, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you replied." I'm like, "I'm going to reply to everybody." I mean, it's like I said, I mean, if I'm available, if I'm in the middle of harvesting, then it may be the end of the day, but if I'm available right then and there, and I got nothing else going on at that very second, then I'll get back to you. So, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. And obviously, if you worked with me before one-on-one, I mean, I'm going to prioritize you guys, over everybody else. But even if you haven't worked with me directly, I'm still going to get back to you at least with something. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. Not a big deal. That's what we're all here for, is to build the industry up.
Yep. Make sure you get into the right group, the right Facebook group. Not every support group of Microgreens is the right group to be in. You get a lot of bad information in some of them groups. So I'm sure we will post Andy's link if you're not already in his Facebook group. It's streaming on here as well. And Jess will post a link to that group, I'm sure, for us as well. Make sure you get in that group. That's where I post most of my stuff. I've actually seen a lot of good stuff going on in the Microgreens for Beginners group. There's not that bad of stuff there lately. So some of them other support group ones are not so good. So, and don't forget, if you're finding value in our stories and our discussion here that we're doing, please like this video, share it out. It helps our community grow. We really do appreciate that highly, guys. And subscribe to the channel. Expanding on that, let's talk about the role of support systems. Andy, how important is it to you have a network in your business?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, the fact that I have access to some of the top professionals in the industry, that some of them are way above and beyond where I am already at this point is awesome. I mean, the fact that I know I can text them or call them or send them a message on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I mean, it's really nice to have access to folks like that. I mean, I've learned a ton from you already. I mean, heck, 5 minutes before we got on here, I taught Josh something about cantaloupe that he didn't know. So, it's just nice to have that intertwined network where we can all kind of work with each other at the professional level. And the nice thing is all of us get better and all of us end up passing that information down and up, depending on what direction you are with your size of your farm now. So it's definitely nice. But without that network, it'd be really tough. And without the groups on Facebook and things like that we're all part of, definitely would make it even more challenging. So take advantage of those resources that are out there and make sure you're getting advice from people who know what they're doing, that have an established actual microgreen business, not somebody who's just trying to snake oil sales you into something. So be wary of that.
For sure. Make sure you got the right network. You could have somebody who's growing on 2 racks, they may not know anything. 1 rack, I know there's a course out there. Guy never grew on more than 1 rack. There's a lot of people that learned from him in the beginning, got some bad information, but
Yep.
leave that alone. But make sure you get a good network, good coach, good mentor, somebody who's been doing it. Josh, how do you feel about networking?
Oh, networking is critical, especially in startup phase. So getting out there, talking with the chefs, finding out through networking that he used to work at this restaurant. This chef used to work at this restaurant, and They also use microgreens, same vendor that they get their microgreens from. So you already know bad quality or whatever, right? There's some of those pain points of that vendor.
Yeah.
So just you're learning from that from networking. If you don't network, there's a saying out there, your net worth is your network. And that's absolutely true in any business, but especially when you're trying to start a business up and you're failing just that simple stuff where, networking with the chef or networking with a produce manager, you're selling yourself short.
For sure. And then produce managers know each other. Like, even if they're not the same companies, they're just like chefs. They know each other.
Yeah.
So you make one chef mad, they're going to tell the other chefs. You make one chef really happy, he's going to tell the other chefs. So that can be, and don't forget when you go in and you're messing with the restaurants, you've been with it for a while, that sous chef, the other chefs that are down below, make sure you have interactions with them, because them are the next chefs going to the next restaurant. And if they like your greens and they got a good relationship with you, they're going to take your greens with them. So make sure you have interactions with everybody that's in that building, just not the main guy, the chef, the manager, the owner, whatever else. Talk to them all. Let them know we've got so much more business off of just that networking of that. So keep that levels going for sure. All right, let's talk a little bit about adaptability and goal refinement. We suggest that our students revisit the refined goals and business goals and strategies after setbacks, taking that into account that the lessons they've learned changes. So make sure you've got to adjust. So Josh, what are your takes on this?
Adapting is definitely, I mean, it's something you have to do for sure. I have something wrote down here that,
Looking through now.
okay, big thing for us was we learned that, am I coming through okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Big thing for us was we learned that we have to provide more value. Providing more value is going to be critical in how we want to expand. So, how you mentioned earlier about 1% of your population, it would be a thriving business. It's something we're really struggling with. So, what I'm trying to do is pivot away from just being a micro farm, right, into something that has into an urban farm. It's got herbs. We got the tower grows going. I got a little hydroponic system going now. So those things I think will be critical in the way that we adapt our business and how I see us pivoting into something that we can actually benefit from on a longevity scale.
Yep, I agree with that. Adding on new product lines as you get bigger and you get a bigger space. Obviously, we didn't do this while we were at the house before we moved, but we've added lettuce now, as Josh has, edible flowers. We're doing cilantro or a basil, full size basils now for a grocery store that wants them. So there's just little things you can add on, and then basils are going to go to grocery stores we're already going to. So that's just added money, not changing the route, not adding new customers on. The lettuce chefs are going to take it. Grocery stores are going to take our lettuce. We've already got it sold before we grew it, which is amazing. They all want it. So there's some little things you can add on. You don't even have to add on a new customer. So that's huge when you can do that. So Andy, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, we've changed a lot as far as what we've offered over the last year and a half, just in our growth into restaurants and into distributors and a little bit deeper into grocery stores. We've added a lot of varieties as a result. I think we're up to about 25 at this point that we grow, which is insane, especially trying to teach employees how to do it. But, we also took advantage of kind of when we had filled out the store and didn't have any room at the time, to build farm flow and to start coaching and doing other things just to generate, additional revenue streams for the business. And, that's part of it too. I mean, you just adapt and overcome and just add on different things. But when we get into our new space, I mean, our hope is to start growing, lettuces and potentially flowers. I don't really want to, but I feel like we have to, because it's kind of the direction things are heading in our area. And I know there's a desperate need for them in our area as well. So nobody's really doing them at the moment. So we'd love to be able to provide those out to all the different restaurants and especially distributors. They buy a ton of flowers and they get them from that one place in California who can't seem to get them here without them being dead on arrival. So it'll be a really easy sale when the time comes. But yeah, it's all part of it. I mean, you just have to kind of look at where the industry's going and make those adjustments. And even something on our short-term list is going to be doing, better mixes for grocery stores. We sell a lot of like individual stuff. So like sunflower, peas, radish, whatever. We'd like to create, more variety and things that are going to be a little bit more, flavorful, if you will. And that'll draw people's attention. to get more sales, generate more revenue, and hopefully get us into some grocery stores that we've been, struggling to get into. So that could be the one thing that kind of takes us over the edge. So that's something on our list to do eventually. But yeah, always got to be adapting and changing, or you're just going to sit there stagnant.
Yeah, for sure. We actually had a chef reach out to us that we've never even dealt with. I'm not 100%. I think I know what restaurant he's from. I think he's from a country club, but he heard about our flowers because we've been posting them on social media that we're growing them. And he's like, "Hey, can I get 50 flowers today?" Well, I have like 10 that I could possibly cut for you. They're not quite ready yet. They're just starting. So give me a few more weeks and then we can get it for you. So they're already coming to you just by posting stuff on social media when your stuff's not ready yet, and you're getting excited because they are getting them from that dead on arrival California company, and it's not good. So this market is thriving, wanting the edible flowers and wanting them there. So that's going to be a huge part of our segment of business and a great in to restaurants that we normally aren't getting into. And then we can get them the micros as well, and maybe lettuce as well, So just that one, you never know what their one in is. It might be lettuce, it might be flowers, it might be micros, and then you just add on other stuff. So definitely as you grow, this is obviously not in the very beginning when you got 1 or 2 racks or anything else. Wait till you get big, wait till you get into a warehouse space or a bigger space, where you can actually grow that. Because trust me, flowers take a lot of space. We just built we went from the little 2 4-foot things, and we just built a 12-foot thing and have a whole system set up, and it's already full. And we just built it yesterday and it's already full. So I need to build more as soon as we get done. So you got to have the space. And we tried flowers so many times, but we just ran out of space every time and had to end them because we weren't big enough space for it. So don't do our mistake and start early. So you guys got anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Remember, every setback is a step forward in your journey. Keep growing, keep learning, and keep pushing until the boundaries are done. Until next time, keep those greens thriving. Also, if you're looking to start growing your microgreen business, we're here to help you to overcome your challenges and achieve your success. So check out the links in the descriptions below for more details. And you can also check out Andy's pages as well, and Josh as well. You know where to find us all, so you can check them out as well.